Well, it's finally happened. I can finally say rest in peace, LittleBigPlanet. Even though I said it like a year earlier with a god-awful video that I regret making. I can't really say rest in peace Sackboy just yet. He's still barely hanging on with PlayStation only just funding his life support. But that electricity bill is looking awful high, so they might end up pulling the plug at any point. It's basically set in stone now that LittleBigPlanet itself is gone forever. They've finally decided to just end support, and it's never, ever coming back. At least for now. Who knows what the future holds? Anything can happen. The games industry is one of the most unpredictable industries at this point. I mean, Media Molecule has this little PS5 controller icon on their site, which definitely means LittleBigPlanet 4 is confirmed, right? Right? I mean, people were still playing LittleBigPlanet 3 before everything was taken down. It's not even that old of a game, so it's quite tragic how soon it's been. Oh my god, it's almost 10 years old. I really do think creating a LittleBigPlanet 4 that takes full advantage of the PS5's hardware should just be a no-brainer at this point. In one of my older videos, I even said it would be cool if they took the groundwork of Sackboy's A Big Adventure and made a create mode for that and just slapped the LittleBigPlanet 4 name on it. I mean, I'd fucking play it. A 3D create mode seemed like the biggest step in the right direction. And I mean, Sony, you have like one game showcasing what your stupid ass console is capable of. And even then it plays better on PC, so give your console a reason to exist already, man. LittleBigPlanet 4 could be the perfect opportunity to showcase the SSD with how fast everything can load, and you could even utilize the DualSense 5 in ways where it can help with the create mode. I don't know, I'm not sure how or what they could do, but LittleBigPlanet is about creativity, right? Figure it out. I'm not the one being paid to do this shit. Wait, I've just realized, if the servers are completely gone, do I not have access to my levels at all anymore? Fuck, I gotta check this. Oh shit. I'm actually so pissed off. What the fuck? I would literally spend hours upon hours in create mode thinking of the most scuffed, horrific ideas for levels, because I had no concept of level design back then, and while I was creating all of this shit, I was sat on the floor eating hummus with bread to dip it in, which I know is super specific, but bread and hummus reminds me of LittleBigPlanet's create mode. It also reminds me of the crisps skips. Do you guys know skips? I vividly remember doing the Savannah Cave level with the little specimens on stripper poles, and the whole time I was eating a pack of skips with my brother. Those were the good times. Oh yeah, I need to make it clear right now, all the footage you're going to be seeing of the game is from a long play by insert YouTube person here, so credit to them. I would get my own footage, but I don't own a capture card and I can't be bothered hooking up my dust-covered waffle maker. Wow, if only a certain console had backwards compatibility. Oh my god, imagine. I've just realized with the loss of LittleBigPlanet's online services, this means we've completely lost Chris Chan's autism tutorial levels. Yes, that's what they were called. It was just him recreating events of his life in LittleBigPlanet, and they were insanely well made too for no apparent reason. He was fucking dedicated to the craft. He was also dedicated to other things we shouldn't talk about. Personally, I had an awesome level where it was like a platforming parkour level where you'd jump over rooftops, and it got like 1,000 plays, which at the time was awesome for me. Shame I can't fucking show you it anymore. Thanks, Sony. I had some cool space levels too. They were all platforming story levels as well because I didn't get any of the programming shit, so that was literally all I could make, but believe me, they were cool. They were cool. I'm still proud of them to this day. I'm sorry, I've just been rambling so far. This is actually the first time I've ever experienced the game I genuinely care about just be shot in the head and become practically unplayable without having to go through a bunch of loopholes just to play it normally. I know the story mode will always be there, but without the create mode and unique levels, it kind of just makes LittleBigPlanet a middle-of-the-road 2.5D platformer in terms of its mechanics at least. On the other hand, if we were to talk about the charm, the story mode is oozing with that shit. It still holds up, so at least we have something. I will never get tired of playing through the story mode of these games, apart from the PSP one, which I think is, well, I don't think it's aged well either in terms of its, can I call this racy representation? I don't think I have the right to comment on any of this shit. LittleBigPlanet 1's story mode had this distinct theme with every world being based around the culture of a country, with its own spin on it. Like the wedding being based around Dia de los Muertos from Mexico. I I think I said that right. And then right after this world was the Mexican world, which is from Mexico. Oh. It's honestly really hard to pick a favorite, but if I had a gun pointed to my head and I had to choose, I would say the Metropolis world, which is based off of New York City, is my favorite. It's very accurate to the real New York City because it looks dingy as fuck. Oh, and of course we can't forget the music, which is just so catchy. I found myself humming it to myself while I'm doing super mundane shit around the house, like wiping my ass. Every world in LittleBigPlanet 1 has banging original tracks that are horrific earworms that would create a family in there when you hear it for the first time. They just never go away. I'm gonna be thinking of these songs on my deathbed. They are just so catchy. Oh, and we can't forget about LittleBigPlanet 2, which has a Factory of a Better Tomorrow, which is another absolute banger with a subtle communist theming. Oh, and LittleBigPlanet 3 had a swamp level. I think it was a swamp level. I don't know. That one's kind of a blur to me in terms of its story mode. But it doesn't matter anymore, does it? Because all the cool ass objects and materials you get from these story mode levels are, well, they're useless now because the servers are dead. Wait, what about LittleBigPlanet karting? Maybe that's the last bastion of LittleBigPlanet. Oh wait, never mind. The fact there wasn't even any fanfare or an announcement building up to them shutting it down is such a kick in the balls. Usually with these things shutting down, they give you like a year's warning to let you enjoy it before they pull the plug. But no, not this time. Instead, they just tweet out one of those fucking dead inside PNG messages, which all the other publishers and developers have made talking about bad news regarding their games and how they're sorry. They just treated this shit like it was nothing. Then again, Sony are all too familiar with doing that with their good IPs. Listen, right, as much as I love this series, how the fuck did Ratchet & Clank outlive LittleBigPlanet? I completely understand like God of War and The Last of Us because they sell like crazy, but Ratchet & Clank? Can't exactly call it a bestseller now, can we? Then again, after that Sony leak, it really seems like Ratchet & Clank is next on the chopping block. They want to take advantage of that Marvel slop, which is confusing because do you guys not remember the Marvel pack in LittleBigPlanet? Come on, fellas. That reminds me actually, forget about Fortnite and its shitty ass collabs. LittleBigPlanet did it first, and it did it better. I'm not going to elaborate on why it did it better, it just did. Because I mean, I don't know, it felt way less dead inside and corporate in LittleBigPlanet compared to Fortnite. You know what Sony could do to completely fix all of this? Make like an ultimate version of LittleBigPlanet. Fucking call it LittleBigPlanet 4, or maybe call it LittleBigPlanet Hub like that scrapped free-to-play version you were planning on doing. No clue why it was scrapped, it sounded awesome at the time, but then again, this is Sony we're talking about, I don't even need to elaborate, I've already shot on them enough in this video. Have this ultimate version contain all the levels from LittleBigPlanet 1, 2, Vita, and 3. Not the PSP one, because I mean, all these games were made on the same engine, and you can play the previous game's online levels on the sequels. The only one that would need a bit of overhauling is the Vita one, but you have to put in the work for that because LittleBigPlanet Vita was peak. I don't care that you're embarrassed about the PS Vita, Sony. LittleBigPlanet Vita is peak. It is literally peak. Like, you go to see the Mona Lisa, and right next to it is the cover art for LittleBigPlanet Vita. I don't know where I'm going with this. With this ultimate version, they could just keep updating it like a live service game too, because I know they have a hard-on for that shit. I mean, though, even with that, they're not going to do it because, I mean, the higher-ups who make the decisions in these companies aren't actually people. They see LittleBigPlanet and they see that it's too creative and it makes them, like, break down crying or some shit. They're mindless specimens that just feed off money, and then they go home to breed with themselves to create more CEO spawn to feed off more money from us. Have you guys ever noticed that CEOs, like, you never see them with their family or anything? You never see them out on the street. They just go to work and then they vanish. I think I'm onto something here. The only saving grace now really is Restitched, a spiritual successor that looks so good. In every single LittleBigPlanet video I've ever made, I never fail to mention this game because I mean, just look at it. Before it was Restitched, it was actually going to be a fan-made version of a LittleBigPlanet game for the PC with the subtitle being Restitched. But Sony didn't like that because it's their IP to sit on and do nothing with. Fuck you, want a chicken nugget? So it was just rebranded as Restitched to avoid the Sony copyright shit, and it also gives them an excuse to actually make it their own IP. Of course, they had to change Sackboy's design. They made him look like a stuffed bear, which is probably the best way they could alter it, honestly. They clearly know what they're doing. It looks like it works flawlessly with mouse and keyboard support, so I only have high hopes for Restitch, especially considering it's been like 4 years since that trailer, so they've been cooking, and it's gonna be awesome, I hope. It's sad that LittleBigPlanet is gone, but it's not the end of the world. I think it's time to move on because, let's be real, fuck PlayStation and Sony. Restitched is gonna come out and blow us all away, and we're gonna feel like kids eating bread and hummus again, making absolute slop in create mode. I swear I can't be the only one. I know it's super specific, but come on now. I also used to eat baked bean and cheese sandwiches while playing it, which I know probably disgusts a lot of you, but they were good. I don't know why I associate so many foods with LittleBigPlanet of all things. I mean, I guess it's, man, I don't know. Why did they shut down the servers? Before I end this video, I just want to thank the clothing company, Insert Coin Clothing. This isn't a sponsorship because I've actually been buying clothes from them for a while now, but they were generous enough to send out some of their products to me, which just adds to my collection, so thank you so much. I would honestly say this is the best place to get clothing relating to games. The variety here is absolutely insane. You can get stuff ranging from a Yakuza t-shirt like this Majima construction shirt to this sick Bloodborne jacket, and even a Hi-Fi Rush hoodie. I miss Hi-Fi Rush so much, man. You can actually get Chai's hoodie from here too, but be careful wearing it out in public because it looks very similar to a certain person's t-shirt and people might approach you and say Bazinga. To make this relevant to the video, they also do merch relating to LittleBigPlanet and Sackboy, so at least someone out there is giving a shit about it. Check out Insert Coin Clothing when you can. I'll leave a link to their store down in the description below, and thank you all so much for watching my video.